What's going on, guys? So the winner of the poll is the Signet of Illusions Mesmer, and I have to admit I haven't really used this elite when playing a Mesmer, but I should have because it's a lot of fun and this elite gives you tens or hundreds of opportunities. So I can explain most of these builds very easily. Basically you activate Signet of Illusions and your next 3 spells will use your illusion magic attribute instead of their normal attribute. Or in other words, if you have, let's say, 16 in illusion magic, you can have 16 domination magic for your next 3 spells as well, or even 16 inspiration magic, or even 16 of any secondary attributes. Like you go LS secondary and you can have 16 fire magic, 16 air magic and so on. I guess you feel how much diversity this elite offers. Let's say you are bored of using the meta like energy surge or ineptitude, you can mix these two things. You can have pretty nice anti-melee and anti-coaster stuff at the same time. Think of all the best Mesmer skills: Cry of Frustration, Wandering Eye, Wastrel's Demise, Empathy, Mistrust, Arcane Conundrum and so on. You can have all these in one build. It doesn't matter if they are from the domination magic or from the illusion magic group. You will have the maximum 16 attributes if you are using the build well. Okay, let's start with some no secondary builds first. These builds focus only on Mesmer skills, and honestly you can mix domination and illusion magic as much as you want. These are just some of my favorite skills, to be honest. I really like Clumsiness, Wandering Eye and Signet of Clumsiness against martial classes. And there is also anti-coaster skills like Cry of Frustration, Conundrum and Mistrust. Alright, let's see the build in action. Every time before the battle you can pre-call Signet of Illusions, and this skill has no duration. It will be active till you use your next 3 spells. And I like to start the fight with Arcane Conundrum. This is kind of an energy management skill and a way to slow down the coasters. The more fools you can hex with this one, the more energy you get back when the hex expires. Wastrel's Demise next to do some DPS on the melees till they get to us, and now you can use all the anti-melee skills. Try to use them on walled up groups, of course, to maximize your AoE damage, Clumsiness, Wandering Eye, etc. Use them as often as you can. Okay, now let's see what to do if there are coasters in the enemy group. Not much difference, to be honest. Start with Conundrum again and use Cry of Frustration or Mistrust on the coasters, and use the anti-melee hexes on the other fools. Of course you can use the anti-melee spells on coasters too, but they don't attack as fast as the martial classes. If you want to go more anti-coaster, consider using Frustration. This is a great way to shut down one target, like a boss or a healer or one dangerous enemy. Basically, each time you interrupt a skill, Frustration deals 106 damage, and Power Return is a fast recharging interrupt, perfect to mess with some coasters. And not only your own interrupts triggers Frustration, but the Mesmer heroes interrupts as well. Then there is Arcane Mimicry if you want to get an elite skill like Energy Surge or Ineptitude for a period of time, or you can even try Arcane Echo and copy one of your spells, like you want 2 Mistrust or 2 Cries of Frustration, you can do that too. Also good to know, Auspicious Incantation gives you plenty of energy if you use it with 15 energy skills like Arcane Echo, and in this case they don't make the recharge longer, so it's a pretty good way to get some energy. Like I said, you can try Signet of Illusions with secondary professions too. The next builds work somewhat as support builds. As a monk secondary you can think of using different protection prayer skills like Aegis or Shield of Absorption. This can help reduce some pressure against tougher opponents, or you can use Strength of Honor for the melees. Of course, these monk spells will have 16 in their attributes, so 16 protection prayers, 16 healing prayers and so on, meaning they will be quite effective if you use them after Signet of Illusions. And if you want more damage, try the next Necro variants. Mark of Pain is a great skill to have the melees deal huge chunks of damage. Putrid Explosion is also armor ignoring damage, and if your team is not relying on minions, this is a great source of damage. Dark Aura is an option for Soul Taker Necros, and Bloodbond can help with the heals. Elementalist secondary also provides interesting alternatives. Elemental Flame, Blurred Vision and Teinai's Wind do burning, make attacks miss and also deal decent damage, and also do an AoE interrupt. You can of course try going into air magic or fire magic. Intensity and Chain Lightning is pretty good, or Meteor and Liquid Flame. You can even be a tank Mesmer with kinetic armor, or you can even bring Stoneflesh aura to get huge damage reduction while keeping most of your damage focused Mesmer skills. Ritual is secondary now. Splinter weapon is a must-have in this case. Your melee friends or melee heroes will love this one. You can also try Spirit Rift for more AoE damage or Spirit Siphon for energy management. Of course you could try Restoration, Healing, Ritu skills too, but personally I think this is quite difficult to focus on the enemy and on your allies at the same time. In my opinion it's better to be a full healer or a full damage dealer and not some heal DPS hybrid. This also applies to monk secondaries. For sure you can have some fun with healing prayer skills, but long term I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, now the Dervish secondary. I think Veil of Thorns is pretty nice. It gives you 37% spell damage reduction, and Mirage Cloak can make your Mesmer somewhat tanky against attacking foes. By the way, good to know, you can use your Mesmer heroes for solo farming too. Just give them Signet of Illusions and Mystic Healing. This way you can heal yourself from great distances if your character is enchanted. They use the Signet automatically and you only have to micro Mystic Healing. 3 Mesmer heroes can heal over 200 every 5 or 4 seconds. Pretty good stuff if you don't have Dervish heroes. You can do the same with Mesmers as well. Finally, Assassin secondary. Shroud of Distress comes to mind. This is a great skill to make your Mesmer more tanky, or feigned neutrality for tough situations, caltrops maybe for AoE crippled condition, or Mark of Death to make your enemy monks heal 33% less. And regarding heroes, Blood's Power Necro is a must-have. I mean, you could solve the energy management yourself with Power Drain or Channeling or similar skills, but then you lose a skill slot, and honestly the Beep Necro does a decent job, so why not rely on him? Besides, the usual Mesmer hero team is perfect. The Signet of Illusions build will fit into any meta team nicely. Alright, now let's see what can go wrong. Since you can pre-cause the elite skill, there aren't too many things that can ruin the build. Obviously, if you get hexed by ignorance during a fight, you can't use signets for some time, but Mesmer heroes will remove the hex pretty fast, or you can bring a Shatter Hex yourself. The only real disadvantage I can tell you is that you must reuse Signet of Illusions every 3 spells. Sadly, this is a must-have, or your non-illusion magic spells will be quite useless and hardly deal any damage. This takes some time to master, and you can't just spam skills without thinking. You must pay attention to the elite skill to maximize your DPS. And I think this is quite unusual at first, but with practice one can learn it. And otherwise, these Signet of Illusion builds are great, plenty of armor ignoring AoE damage, fast casting helps a lot too, both with skill recharge and casting times. You can shut down coasters, you can mess with the martial classes too, millions of different builds, so highly recommended. Easily meta category for me. If you want to try something new and bored of E-Surge, this is a good choice. So guys, that's all for today. Hope you like this build. Stay tuned for more videos. And don't forget to check my other build videos too. Thanks for watching and see you next time.